So first of all, before we have any type of conversation, we must first of all put out what is a conversation and what is a fight. Because it looks it looks very easy today, but trust me, it's the most difficult aspect anyone can answer. Because in a conversation, if we don't have a mutual agreement, if there is not common ground to find, how do we have a conversation in the first place? We don't align that there is something as called common sense. So what does it mean? That means that someone in the conversation is saying, I don't care, I am more important than you are. Whatever comes out of my mouth must be the truth. Regardless, or you know, the whole world, even if it doesn't make logical sense, it doesn't care. I do not have to explain my logic. All I have to say is just something out of my mouth, and this is the ultimate truth. That is an ignorant, egotistical prick. What does it mean? Let's say, for example, it's red light. They went through the red lights. And what will happen now? They are going in front of a judge, and the judge and everyone sees it, and the camera shows it, and you know, he would even state, if I was probably on the opposite car that got hit, I of course would have admitted, yes, it is red. But I am not in the other side, I am in my side, and with all respect, that will not serve me good to admit that it is a red light. No, you know what? It's green. You have your truth, I have my truth. Who are you to tell me I am wrong? And who am I to tell you that you are wrong? You know, if you see it as red, I see it as green. Let's agree on a disagreement, because we are not getting out of it. Because if you will ask Copilot, ChatGPT, or Croc AI, all those three AIs will say, no, truth is based on whatever person says. We simply have to respect whoever tells something, that's the truth. The truth, what is truth, is literally based on whatever somebody finds, how they feel. Literally, if they feel like that, then that must be the truth, you know. And what will happen? Any ideology in that hierarchy where pride dominates the conversation and doesn't want to admit upon common sense, logic, and simply constantly dismisses it, say, no, I didn't say that, I don't care about that, yeah, you can say whatever, why should I even explain myself, deviating from the core simply to not have to explain their self in logic because they are knowing they are lying. What will happen? Fights. And that is the difference. If we don't have a common ground, means what is our truth, it must to be upon logic. The most reasoned, logical, the most logic reasoned thought should be accepted as our new truth. And that is how we build as a blockchain. If somebody doesn't like that in the conversation, they are in the first place not respecting you. And by that, the conversation is ended before it was even started. So the only way to steer the conversation to a more to a place or to a structure that eventually will find balance is where both people have to understand that in a conversation it is not about winning or losing. The one with ego is the one that has literally no balls. Like he is the weak. The weak hand is the one that cannot admit upon truth. They will act that they are the tough one. They will say, we are simply strong. We don't care about you. Yeah, that's how they will act. They will even try to degrade you. God, pussies, what are you? You are all losers. You are simply nothing. Why? Because we call something they have is mirror neurons. And these mirror neurons, we have literally to look to it like whatever they say somebody in authority did, for example, their parents, they now will replicate that same behavior again. And most often these people were, when they were a child, their parents were very dominant against them, made them feel like they are nothing. They had constantly needing to prove their worth. Why? Because their parents actually also were very fearful. They were driven by an immense amount of fear to show something called vulnerability. What does it mean? Showing your weaknesses, showing your truth, showing what some people might, it is literally telling your love, telling what's in your heart and in your mind, these thoughts that is grounded in logic out loud. The problem, of course, is in a society driven by competition, like how capitalism is operating. What do you think will happen if we know that there is only a limited amount of resources available? Imagine you have two animals and suddenly you will say, you know what? Normally there is plenty enough of food and resources available for these animals, but right now let's take that away from them. What will happen now? We leave them left with only enough for one animal. Now, the logic is, they will have to fight to be able to survive. And that is actually welcome to capitalism. Capitalism is a social structure similar to almost all the other social structures that were driven by egotism, such as communism or actually also socialism. In socialism, it could take forever because of big bureaucrats taking the whole control. And so who is now the boss? The bureaucrats. In communism, who is the boss? The government. And so we don't have any rights. And in capitalism, who is the boss? The rich people. So they have to say and we have to follow. And so they will eventually subsidize the president elections campaign. Eventually the elections will win. And then when the elections win, they will literally do whatever they wanted with us. And their idea is we have to fight for a limited amount of resources, causing us to fight against each other. And because of that fight against each other, everything will literally fall apart. We will be afraid to show vulnerability because anyone can use it against us, because it's a world of competitions. And that is the reason they are afraid to admit, because now they are believing indirectly as a kid. They grew up by a parent that educated them that way, got that fear, passed that fear through them. And now what will they feel if they will admit upon the truth that you just have said in the conversation, that somehow they are lesser because they want to show and prove their worth consistently. And so what will happen? We never really grow, but inside they know you was right. They definitely know, but it simply came from you, not from them. And by that, they are not accepting it. So how could we eventually reward more to actually show vulnerability instead of actually showing egotism? So the way that we should show that is simple. It starts with the first principle. What are they afraid of? They are afraid of the feeling of not being enough. Why? Because there is immense stress from upon them, on their shoulders, put by their parents, society, teachers, everyone, friends, expectations later on, their wives, their kids, everyone expects from them that they will be capable to literally solve it all, solve everyone's problems in a world where resources are literally limited. Think about it. It is simply not possible. We cannot make from everyone a millionaire or a doctor. So we can never fix the problem as long that the societal structure is telling exactly like to those animals, where we could give them abundance of supply. We could, but that means unity and equality, and this means that accumulation of wealth is forbidden for everyone. We cannot accumulate wealth. When we are accumulating wealth, that greed will eventually cause that there is over accumulated wealth in one end and not in the other end. And by that we have inequality. And so that is the ripple effects, the long-term ripple effects of every action and decision that we are making. It starts with a thought. If you don't challenge the thought, eventually it will ripple out. And that is the whole structure. And so if the government doesn't change their approach and will start saying, because think about it, if, let's say for example, I have 2 animals and I will intentionally cause a limited amount of and an inequality of supply of resources, causing eventually knowing that now those animals will fight, because I believe, the strongest must to survive. It's all about showing dominance. That is capitalist. The capitalistic ideology is all about economic growth, profit over lives. If they have to choose one, think about it, your government. If they have to choose to pick one, there is a bunch of money. And then on the other hand, there is a lot of people, lives. They now need to make the chance, they need to choose which one to pick. They already made the decision at the start. Capitalism is literally fight, you can fight, because for us, your life is not important, but the money, that's important. It will serve me directly. The wealth, that's important. I am always choosing economic growth, wealth, money, that is profits, that is what I choose. And you guys, you are not me. I don't care about you. I will pretend I care about you when I need your votes. I pretend. But once you have voted, knowing that I was supporting a system that literally tells, in order to create competition, we need to have inequality. In order to see these 2 animals fighting, we need to create inequality. So we limited the supplies, the resources intentionally to make you fight. If anyone wants to change that, it starts with giving them equal resources. It starts with equality, an equitable society. Anyone against equitable society is literally telling to you, I don't care about you, fuck off, because I am more worth than you are. So the connection little bit fell out, but I will continue from where we left off. Indeed, the only single way to change it is by directly changing how the structure is working. What do we need? We need to have empathy in every single core of the system, every layer of the system. What is empathy? Empathy is not what, of course, an egotistic maniac, they will explain to you, of course, empathy as something degrading. That's all what they are doing. If they know something will reveal their lies, what do you think they will do? They have a tactic called discrediting the other. That is all what they will do, and hoping that the sheep will not think too much or dig too deep, and that hopefully no one is capable to explain themselves from a logical viewpoint, so that eventually clarity reigns supreme again and enlightens, literally awakens, enlightens all of humanity. And so that's what I will try to do. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear out the lies that these entire structures have tried to keep hidden from you, trying to put you in such a miserable situation, believing you that you are the problem of everything that is happening into your lives? Literally simply ditching all kind of accountability. They don't care about accountability. They don't care to admit they are wrong. They never will. Egotistic mindsets never will admit, even if you present them with undeniable proof. They will say, no, it's not me. Nah, it's not me. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. It's all lies. Everything is a lie. Everything is a lie. Nothing can be true. It must be a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Think about how many people you know in that mindset. Everything is bullshit. It's all bullshit. Nothing is true. But they don't give you any counter-logical argument. There is none. And if they give you some, it is not well thought or well reasoned. It is less reasoned. But they stick with it. After that, they don't even want to give any answer. Yeah, I don't care. I gave you some answer. It came something out of my mouth. It should be enough. Are you ready to awaken from those liars that have tried to manipulate you? And wake up, lift up, stand up, and show them. So the way how we will do it is, first of all, we have to understand how that those people are operating. Know their weaknesses. Know how they are thinking. Once you understand their playbook, you will understand, wow, so you are now at level ignorant. Yeah, that's where you are, exactly. So ignorant level. So we just take with us a book like this, in front of these people. Yeah. And then, because we are capable to explain what is really going on, we simply say, okay, here, so right now you have ignorance. This ignorance means you are insecure. And an insecurity, you are insecure. Do you have daddy issues? Is that going on? Daddy issues, daddy issues. Daddy felt that you was not enough, correct? You was not enough, and now you have to prove yourself. And because you are willing to prove yourself, because you think you have nothing really to provide, all you know is simply nothing, but you didn't understand. I will tell you something. All what your daddy at the end of the road wished for, all what your mommy at the end of the list wished for, was to have something called connection. Think about it. Place yourself in their shoes. At the end of the road, yes, I understand. Right now, your kids are there. You think you are supreme. You are very, very disrespectful to your kids. They have to do exactly what you want. It is do what I want you to do, and then I will make your life easy. Go against what I have said, and then I will make from your life a nightmare. That is an egotistical ideology that is not open for any form of challenges, intellectual challenges, because it's all about dominance, as they fear showing they are fearing logic, because in logic it means we have to accept somebody else, their reasoning, and that means that we could have been wrong. And yeah, they have thought that if they didn't know everything, then they are worth less. And that is their biggest fear, of course, to feel that they are worthless. That's their whole issue. And of course, they don't understand that even. That is an unconscious problem, but we have to highlight that. We have to explain the logic, how eventually this all happened. So then suddenly they start to see things, even they don't admit right away, but later on they will start thinking and saying, Jesus, oh my God. Jesus, hallelujah. Thank you for this blessing that you have given to me of clarity, because honestly, I didn't saw it. And so what was Jesus his way? Jesus his way was trying to come here to literally prick out these lies that was being put by egotism and try to awaken humanity by letting them understand, who are we? You are me, I am you, the Father is in me, I am in you, you are in me, we are all one. That's all what we were. So to understand somebody else, look inwards. How do you look to your child? What do really matters at the end of the road? If something would happen to your child, imagine tomorrow your child dies. Would you be concerned about, he didn't got that education I wanted. You are such a loser. Or would you start thinking, oh my God, why didn't I uplifted my son? Why didn't I told my son how much I loved him? Telling him, don't care about school. I know, you are amazing. You are the most smartest kid I know. And don't worry, you never have to prove yourself, because when I asked to get you, all I wanted was simply for you to be in my life, to give my life more meaning. But yes, I made some mistakes because of the old generations we was in. But at the end of the road, please, my son, always remember, if something would happen to you, trust me, whatever, even that diplomas, whatever, I literally threw it in the garbage. I don't care about it. I don't care about any of it. Literally, my job, my career, that work, it means nothing. If something would happen to you, then literally all that means nothing. I only care about you. I always have cared about you. I love you, and I would do anything. If something would happen to you, trust me, I leave everything. My only wish is to have you back and understand, I love you. Never try to prove your worth, because you are irreplaceable. So because now the question is, what about challenging someone's belief and still being respecting or respectful? What is being respectful? Respectful is telling your honest truth from your mind and your heart with your mouth, being straightforward. So you have to be really straightforward. So don't go around in circles, because the respect is, I respect your time. So if I will go around in circles, that will take your time. And I bet your time is worth more than just fighting. And next to that, I respect your intelligence by when you said something more reasonable, I must accept that. If I don't accept that, because why would I not want to accept something sound more logical and more reasoned than what I have brought up? Why would I not want to accept that if I don't have something to counter against it? Because if you brought something that I still think, maybe we can build upon it, and I have something in my mind that is more reasoned and I'm speaking it out and it's common sense, then of course that's explainable, that is self-explanatory why I didn't accept it, because I had a better idea and I also brought it forward. But what if I don't have that more reasoned idea? Then I am being ignorant. And why would I be ignorant? Because of my pride. And what is my pride? I am not in the conversation literally here for communal growth. I am here to prove my word against you. This means I am following egotism. This means I am looking to you down. You are worth less than me. I have to overperform you in all aspects. And that means if you get any type of success of recognition, gaining from it, that I have to admit, I will never do it. But they don't understand that in empathy, it's not about I said so you have to admit. No, it's about common ground. Whatever is more logical, when we discovered it together, we together have discovered it. That's the whole concept. Information is not from one person. It is not owned by one person. It is there to help both of us. Our lives with more reasoned ideas, our lives will be better structured. And what is truth? Truth must to be at all times built upon logical sounding. Next to that, it has to be reasoned. What do we mean with well reasoned? It must incorporate the long-term ripple effects of all actions upon the collective lives of all. And there is where empathy comes into place. We put ourselves not only in your shoes, and because that is sympathy. Sympathy will say, what, regardless with what you say, I don't want to offend you, or make you feel less. So I will agree upon anything you say. But in the meantime, that means we are putting the knife in the back of all other existence of lives. Because now suddenly I simply think only about you, but empathy thinks about the collective lives of all. If you said something that could hurt the collective lives of all, I will be directly stating that. Direct, not going around in circles, because I respect your time. And so I will be direct with that point, so we don't lose too much of our times, and in a very short moment we have grown quickly together. And that needs to not take it personally, but understand we are here together like in a car. If you're going wrong, this eventually will harm me, because the long-term ripple effects of these actions will eventually in the long run hurt the collective lives of all. It starts with, let's say you slap your child. Later on, the child has mirror neurons, will replicate that behavior to another peer in school, and later on he will do it to his child, etc., etc. And before you know, it's a king. It will be a very oppressive king. Punishments, no compassion. And in thousands of years of now, because we never die, we are all one. We coming back to this world in a random place and time anywhere in this earth, and this reality is shaped by our long-term ripple effects of our actions. And so eventually it comes back to ourselves. Can you continue what you just said, because the connection just fell out somehow? Exactly. That's actually the whole point. That is where we have common ground. It's not about somebody has to win or somebody has to lose. And in that way, we have, like what you said, a meaningful dialogue. And this actually encapsulates that whole point, That is all what we have to work towards. That is something we have to, because integrity, people have also to understand what is integrity. Integrity is to never deviate from that structure of truth, not because you feel uncomfortable, because of your emotions you cannot admit, because of your fears, because all of these emotions eventually are grounded in fear, the fear of not being enough. So I want to tell you something, you are enough. The whole wish of this society was simply to have you, but to have the true version of you, the version of you that is not afraid, the version of you that can admit what's in his mind and what's in his heart, and whatever is more logical sound will tell it. Because think about it, if your truth is not about prioritizing the well-being of the collective lives of all, then in essence you are saying that anyone could buy you out to eventually harm me, to eventually harm your own kids, to eventually harm your own wife, to eventually harm your own husband. Is that love? Because if that's the meaning of love, that there is certain moments where suddenly you could literally, for some money or fame or whatever there is, recognition, suddenly switch and start now even dehumanizing your own spouses. If you can do it for one, it's just a matter of circumstances, and you will do it for all. First of all, I love you. I love you so much. My battery is getting so ended right now. I love you so much, and hopefully till the next one. Bye bye.